All right, let's go straight to the Fin Review now. Of course, the Fin Review refers to today's historic event where the ASX plunged through the 7,000 mark. Low rates drive shares ahead of profits. Leading investors warn that the share market's ascent to 7,000 points, helped by the lowest interest rates in history, should be met with caution and may not be supported by earnings in an economy growing below trend. A formalised Phase 1 trade deal between the US and China pushed the Australian market to a record 7,041 yesterday, and biotech champion CSL to an all-time high of $300.89. Now, Dan Petrie, I know you keep a very close eye on the economic narrative in this country. What does this mean for punters at home?
Okay, so a couple of things here. So we've seen certainty really kind of drive this big money flow into the ASX, and of course there's a couple of things as well. When you've got certainty, people are more confident to like to buy these equities, and of course the ASX has finally broken through the 7,000 point mark. Now this really is after 10 years, because they were almost there in 2009. Of course we had a little thing called the global financial crisis. Now Gleeson, so there's one thing with this record low interest rate. What we're seeing now is a lot of hot money now coming in. So this is people who historically have had their money invested in banks, maybe a fixed income product. Those people are now just deciding to buy stocks, hoping to get a better yield than what they get at their bank. So if you've got $1,000 at the bank, you're getting $75 a year. You'd be very, very happy. But the simple fact is you're lucky to get really $20. So that is the big problem at the moment.
David Crisafulli, what are the political implications here?
Political implications are that the economy is going well in terms of people looking for opportunities, exactly as Dan said, to find a return on their investment. Dividends are being paid at record levels, and we do hope that's sustainable. But in many ways, this has been driven by the US running hot. And while the US is running hot, the President is looking good in the eyes of his people. And the political implications for this is at a time when all of the talk about impeachments and political games are going on. Many Americans who may not have voted for Trump a few years ago may very well consider doing so on the basis of the fact they've got a little bit of money in their pocket and a few jobs and job prospects. What will be the implications for Australia? Fast forward 2 years. Many times people will choose to make their vote on an economic narrative, even if they don't like the person or might like other policies from the other party. If they feel that their hip pocket is best served or better served, we saw that at the last federal election.
We did indeed.
They will make their vote on that one issue above all others, and politicians who forget that do so at their peril.
Let's go to the advertiser now. This is a story I know David Crisafulli is incredibly keen to have a chat about. Recycling off to dump. Rotting recycling stranded for 2 years inside hundreds of shipping containers, and a huge shed in Adelaide will be taken to a rubbish dump. The Environment Protection Authority has granted exemptions to waste industry giant Cleanaway to take 10,000 tonnes of co-mingled material to its landfill site at Inkerman, north of the city. Tell us about it.
Peter, this is a real issue for this country, and it's one we have to face up to. And the Prime Minister raised this a few months ago. There's been other issues that have diverted our attention in recent times, but we have a major issue in this country with what we do with our recyclables. For a while we tried to flog them off to China, and then China realised we were sending our rubbish over there as well. Now we have a situation where states are paying people to recycle and bring back their goods, and that's great. That's a great incentive. But I can tell you in Queensland, we have a pile of those, what I call poppers, the old Tetra Packs.
Yes.
We have a pile that you wouldn't be able to jump a unicorn with a trampoline over. It is an absolute disaster. There is no market for it. Now, if we don't start developing markets in this country to reuse items that we recycle, we are kidding ourselves. It's the worst of both worlds. You're paying people and there's not an end environmental use or an end community use. We have to face up to it, and what South Australia have done here is put up the white flag. We must find solutions. That must be driven nationally, and it's got to be something we are very serious about, otherwise there's a big problem coming down the hill.